Welcome, ladies and gents. We've had the Las Vegas Grand Prix. We've got a new world champion. We had a Mercedes 1-2, a Ferrari 3-4, and a brilliant battle with the teams fighting for P6 in the Constructors' Championship. Let's take a look. And well, it was a great start for Charles Leclerc, wasn't it? Right up there into P2, a mega move up in the inside of Pierre Gasly and his teammate, and from there on he was right on the back of George Russell early doors. Went for the move, pushed his tyres, well, clearly too hard, and then surprisingly dropped off so poor that it looked like he had some sort of car issue, I thought at one stage. Carlos Sainz got past, Max Verstappen got past. You know, it was really, really strange. And then Max Verstappen was up into P2, and you thought, how has he done this? Is he going to do it again? From out of nowhere. I mean, everybody else on the starts was fairly steady. Kevin Magnussen dropped a couple of places. Fernando Alonso made up a couple of places on the start. But that was effectively it. And then we've seen Lewis Hamilton in a fight, trying to make up some places. Sergio Perez, you thought he'd be another one that would be fighting through the field, didn't do early doors at all, did he? Lewis Hamilton then got past Lando Norris. Then was, you know, we had the sort of pit strategy calls, and then we got the surprise one where Carlos Sainz was going to follow Lewis Hamilton into the pits, or was Lewis Hamilton followed Carlos Sainz into the pits, and Sainz at the last minute pulled out and carried on. Everyone was sort of a bit scratching their heads and a bit surprised there was no penalty for Carlos Sainz. No full clarification on that. Lewis Hamilton was straight on the radio to say, look, he's just cut across the pits, clearly expecting some sort of penalty, but nothing doing there. And is that a mistake from the new race director? Possibly, but we'll find out when we hear more on that. And then we got the battle. Lewis Hamilton on an absolute charge. He was flying, wasn't he? Got past Max Verstappen and then charging down two Ferraris. And we got the two Ferraris charging down and getting past Max Verstappen. Max did exactly what he had to do, and got just home and beat Lando Norris, and the McLarens were comfortably poor, weren't they? In the end, we've seen Leclerc get past Verstappen after a bit of a struggle. I think Carlos Sainz played that really well, actually, because he sort of kept Max Verstappen in the DRS zone. I think this is what he did anyway, because he was a car that was clearly fast enough at that stage to just pull away from Max. But he kept Max Verstappen in the DRS zone for just 3 or 4 laps, just to see through, and so he can hold off Charles Leclerc, because the two Ferraris looked like they would be in a great battle. Lewis Hamilton was absolutely flying, fastest lap after fastest lap, and homing in on his teammate George Russell. But Russell took the win. A Mercedes 1-2, Ferrari, Carlos Sainz on the podium. But Max Verstappen did what he needed to. Like I said, he's a world champion. Let's take a quick look at the 3 good and the 3 bad for this weekend. And we'll start with the first of them. The 3 good is the Mercedes, a 1-2. I clearly did not see this one coming. If you look at my predictions in my preview for this weekend, I just thought it'd be nowhere. But the cold conditions, that's kind of, and even they are surprised at why they're quick, because they had an absolute disaster in Brazil. Lewis Hamilton sort of saying just 1 week ago or a couple of weeks ago that I'd just be happy to leave this team here and call it a day, but and then come back with this car that is absolutely the class of the field. They were comfortably fastest. Just George Russell was strolling at the end, 10-15 seconds ahead of second place. Lewis Hamilton made his way through from 10th to 2nd fairly comfortably, I'd say, and then from there on he was an absolute charge, just pulling off like Max Verstappen did in Brazil almost. Fastest lap after fastest lap. Got the gap down to about 5 seconds, but then his tyres went off. George had enough in hand. I think he was just managing a little bit there, but a brilliant 1-2. Mercedes came out of nowhere. A massive shock. A brilliant result for them. The second of the 3 good, I'm going for Ferrari, a 3-4. I predicted more for them this weekend, but when you look at how the race went, they were had Max Verstappen ahead of him, and you'd think, ooh, they were so hard on their tyres early in the first stint, but I think they learnt really quickly and well from that, and then ran the second stint much better. Some of the strategy calls not great. I think there's Charles Leclerc absolutely slating the team after that. Charles Leclerc slating Ferrari after that. And just not happy with the strategy calls for him on his side of the garage. Carlos Sainz though was the brilliant Carlos Sainz race management that we've seen, wasn't he? Saying, calling himself on the team to, wake up, make the call to come in for strategy when the tyres were going off, and he did a brilliant job, and well-deserved P3 podium for him after last time out. And Ferrari right up there, closing up on the constructors on Ferrari, much on McLaren, much exactly what they needed. And let's see how that championship battle will finish in the end, because it's looking now so close between McLaren, Ferrari and Red Bull. I should just say Max Verstappen, isn't it? Because Sergio Perez has not done anything for that team for quite some time now. And to the third of the three good, I'm going for Nico Hülkenberg, a P8 in that Haas. When it looked at one point in the race where they could be even falling further back from Alpine and Red Bull Racing Bulls, to come home, pull off P8, get the lead back up, the team back into P6 in the Constructors' Championship, 1 point ahead of Alpine now. So a really good solid result. He beats Yuki Tsunoda. Fantastic job from him. A shame Kevin Magnussen just couldn't join him in that, but he did a real solid job to bring that team and get that car up where it did. It's now looking at a real close battle for P6 in that Constructors' Championship also. Them three were, all fighting for the last few points positions at the end of the race, weren't they? So it's looking mega close and mega tight, and it should be brilliant going into the next couple of races to watch them. On to the three bad, and the first of them, I'm going for McLaren. And Lando Norris was 12 seconds off P5 in the end. That car really struggling. Have they lost an awful lot when they were sort of playing down this whole rear wing problem, isn't it, of them losing that with the technical directive? And they're sort of playing it off. It's not going to really affect them too much. It's had a big effect on them there. They were absolutely in no man's land, weren't they? They were fast enough to sort of keep off behind P8, but they were absolutely nowhere near the guys in front. So much so Lando Norris pitted in the end and took fastest lap, all for the team and the constructors. But yeah, disappointing weekend for them. Lando Norris's championship battle is over, but to be honest, the season as a whole, when you look at it, it's probably gone much better than he could ever have imagined, especially after the first 3 or 4 races of the season. So to come here and potentially even be close to a championship battle from where they started early doors is pretty magnificent from them. But yeah, this weekend just hasn't gone well at all. The second of the three bad, I'm going for Alpine, and it's looked what would be an absolutely promising and brilliant weekend for them. Pierre Gasly with that P3 in qualifying, DNF in the race, and then it looked like they were managing Esteban Ocon. I know he had a bit of a collision in the race, but a weekend that promised so much, and they looked like at one point they could extend their lead in the Constructors' Championship. They've now fallen down into P7. They need to sort of pick up and carry on that momentum in Qatar and Abu Dhabi next. But yeah, disappointing weekend race for both Alpine guys. Ocon finishing 17th in the end, so far down, miles away. And yeah, a shame for Pierre Gasly after what was a real good weekend or Saturday qualifying session for him. And the third of the three bad, I'm going for Williams. It looked like that car was going really fast. Alex Albon started in P17, was up into the points at one stage and running in the points at P10 when he got that DNF, and that car actually looked really quick around here, and it'll be so disappointing because it looked like points was on. It shows how quick that car, when Franco Colapinto's gone from a pit lane start and finished P14, but overall when you look at where that car probably should have picked up some points this weekend to go home again with nothing and a smashed car. A disappointing race for Williams in the end because it looked like what could have been. But there we have it. That's the Las Vegas Grand Prix done. Max Verstappen is world champion. A word on him, I mean, this is probably I think one of his best world championships. It's clear from 5-6 races in, he didn't have the best car, but to pull off wins like he did in Canada, in Spain, and even the race in Brazil was most recent, but absolutely fantastic. And he's just kept that car where Sergio Perez, we've seen what he's been able to do. It's absolutely nothing for Max to just keep on reeling off podiums, nicking the odd wins where he clearly shouldn't have been doing that. And it's shown absolutely mega. A really good weekend from him. Again, he did what he needed to do this weekend. But overall, I think it's just been one of his best seasons. Last season we can say it was his best season if you look at all the stats, but he clearly had the best car. But this is one of them where he's really dragged the dog of a car at parts of the season around and to take the win. So it's really a brilliant job from him. And yes, we live to fight now for the Constructors' Championship, which actually looks brilliantly close. Can McLaren hold on for that? Or will Ferrari be Constructors' Championship? Or will Max Verstappen somehow take that home for Red Bull? It seems unlikely because he's fighting with one hand behind his back with Perez not doing anything for the team, but it looks brilliant. It looks so close. It should be fantastic. We go to Qatar next, just a week away. Race is coming thick and fast now until the end of the season. But there we have it. Vegas done and dusted. It's been a really good race. I wouldn't say it's a classic, not as fantastic as we saw last time out, but yeah, a really exciting race and some good action. I think the pass of the day was Perez on Liam Lawson and Kevin Magnussen, wasn't it? Despite his poor race, but what a pass to 3 into 1 where it just looked impossible. Pulled it off. Good on him for that, but that's probably all the highlights that we can talk about for Sergio Perez. Sadly for this weekend, and the guy that I thought I'd be doing well around here. Watch out for the driver rating video coming soon, and the predictions review, which is, I best not talk about that one. That'll be coming soon, and then the preview for Qatar. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and comment. As always, see you next time.